The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Jess De Los Santos. The IATF has issued new quarantine protocols for international passengers entering the Philippines. Fully vaccinated Filipinos coming from green states no longer need to undergo facility-based quarantine. That's as long as they can present a negative RT-PCR test taken 72 hours before their departure. Those who fail to secure negative test results will still be quarantined until they test negative for COVID-19. Afterwards, they will only have to self-monitor for 14 days. Likewise, fully vaccinated foreigners will no longer be quarantined or tested upon arrival. They just have to present a negative RT-PCR test taken within 72 hours before departing for the Philippines. Meanwhile, fully vaccinated passengers from yellow countries will now enjoy a shorter quarantine period. They will have to undergo testing on the third day from their arrival, and if that comes back negative on the fourth day or fifth day, the passenger will be discharged from quarantine.
Hindi na po mangangailangan ng mas mahaba pang quarantine na tumatagal ng 5 hanggang 7 araw doon sa mga nagdaratingan galing sa yellow list countries. Doon naman po sa unvaccinated o partially vaccinated individuals na dumarating, sila po ay pagsasagawa ng facility-based quarantine hanggang sa kapitong araw at kung saan magkakaroon sila ng RT-PCR test at kung negative ito, ipagpapatuloy po nila yung 14-day home quarantine nila sa kanilang mga tahanan.
The government is looking for about 30 to 50,000 more vaccinators for its National Vaccination Day. During the Laging Handa briefing, Health Undersecretary Maria Rosario Vergeres said they need this many vaccinators to be deployed among the 10,000 vaccination sites nationwide. However, Vergeres said they will only be accepting vaccinators on a voluntary basis. This as the government targets to inoculate 15 million Filipinos during the 3-day vaccination program.
15 million na tinatarget po ng ating gobyerno para sa mga araw na ito. Kung hindi man po natin maabot, 50 to 70%, that is already good enough. Pero ang pinakamaganda po dito, yung target na yan kasi kung maaabot po natin, mas dadami na po ang bakunado sa ating bansa and the protection will be there. So hopefully everybody gets to help us so that we can all be able to have a better Christmas.
South Korea and the U.S. are vying for your hearts and wallets through pop culture. Bloomberg's Alex Webb with the details.
South Korea is having a moment. Between the Netflix show Squid Game, the chart-topping boy band BTS, and the Oscar-winning film Parasite, its culture suddenly seems to be everywhere. I'm Alex Webb, and this is The Attention Economy, where I try to get under the skin of the ways the business world is fighting for your attention. Squid Game is a massive hit for Netflix. It got 111 million views in its first month alone, its biggest series launch to date. It's also an example of what is known as Hallyu. That's the Korean cultural wave that seems to be enveloping the world at the moment. There's Parasite, the picture that won Best Movie at the Oscars last year. There's BTS, the massively popular boy band. And whenever people talk about Hallyu, they often, quite close behind, talk about Korean soft power. Now, soft power is different from hard power. Hard power is where you literally force a country to do what you want by perhaps invading them. Soft power is more subtle. It's a way of demonstrating the benefits of your society, of your cultural values and your political values. Back in 1990, when the Harvard academic Joseph Nye coined the term soft power, he wrote that if a nation's culture and ideology are attractive, others will more willingly follow. It's about showing that your system of government, your social and democratic values are appealing, and therefore hoping that that co-opts others into supporting the goals that you have. So, for example, the US, you've got Levi Jeans, you've got Coca-Cola, McDonald's, you've got Hollywood, you've got the Billboard Hot 100. All those are things which might make people go, US looks pretty good, I want to be like that. Problem is, when you think about Squid Game or Parasite, is they're really bleak depictions of society. In Squid Game, the aim is to win a prize pot of close to $40 million, and if you don't win it, you die, and your organs are harvested for use in transplants. In terms of the society it depicts, Squid Game's pretty similar to movie Parasite, the film that won the Best Picture at the Oscars last year. It shows a family on the poor side of town which really wants to get a piece of the life of a wealthy family on the other side of town, and they're pretty much willing to do anything and clear anything out of the way that gets in their path. It doesn't exactly depict a society that you might want to emulate. Of course, Korea has a lot of other mega hits. Its dramas and rom-coms are massive all the way across Asia. In fact, its content industry is now one of its 10 biggest exports by monetary value. And that may sort of be the point. US exports help sell US values. For Korea, the exports themselves may be enough. In fact, the Korean system of democracy is sort of modelled on the US one. It's not trying to export that, but if it can help it sell, say, Samsung electronics or Hyundai cars, that might be a real benefit. No, you don't want to emulate Korean cultural and socio-economic values, but you might want to buy some of their goods. In that sense, the cultural value might lie in the economic value.
We're down to our last 302 days. Sorry, that's 32 days before Christmas. Even before December, a resort in San Fernando, Pampanga is going all out in preparing for the Yuletide season. Laila Pangilinan with a story.
The Christmas capital of the country is living up to its title. Aside from the famous Parol de San Fernando, visitors in San Fernando, Pampanga are drawn to thousands of lights in this winter wonderland transformed resort.
Ang unang-unang talagang mamamangha ka ay yung dami ng mga ilaw na magaganda at makukulay na nandito sa loob ng Christmas Village. Talagang ginawa namin ito para ma-enjoy ng buong pamilya.
The resort started its Christmas theme this early November as a tribute to the National Children's Month. This was in time as the province of Pampanga downgraded to Alert Level 2. The area is also an alternative for those who opt for outdoor recreation.
Makikita mo kung gaano sila kasabik na lumabas. Kaya sabi namin, at I think it's about time na magkaroon tayo ng isang lugar na mapapasyalan naman itong mga batang ito, no? Bukod sa mga malls.
Ay, naku, ayoko sa mall kasi close, di ba?
Mas okay kayo?
Mas okay dito kasi open air. Malayo sa virus kasi open air siya. Hindi tulad sa mall na yung parang kulob.
For those who prefer to eat outdoors, the resort offers al fresco dining. But for those who crave for the distinctive Kapampangan flavor, its restaurant offers kare-kare, seafoods in their famous Christmas Kapampangan nilaga or ligang Pasko.
Kasi pag ikaw ay umikot-ikot dito, siguradong gugutumin ka. Kaya hindi namin pwedeng pabayaan ng mga tao na magutom. So inside the Christmas Village, meron tayong food park, no? Meron tayong mga food kiosks kung saan halos lahat ng mga tinitinda rito ay magpapaalala pa rin sa'yo na, ay, Pasko na pala.
Aside from being embellished with merry and bright installations, families may also enjoy catching waves in the resort's pool. Staying overnight in their spacious villa is another option for those who want to go on staycation. Health and safety protocols are frequently reminded by marshals in the area. Hand washing stations can also be found in strategic areas. The resort has also made it a point that all of its personnel are fully vaccinated.
Hindi pwedeng hindi. So, safe sila dito sa aming mga, even sa mga food kiosks, no? We made sure na lahat ng mga tenants namin at ang kanilang mga staff na nagtitinda ay fully vaccinated.
Only 300 visitors are allowed inside per batch. Entrance fee is 50 pesos per head. The Nights of Lights is open every day from 5:30 p.m. to 12 midnight until January 15. For News 5, Laila Pangilinan. We are One News.
And we'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Jess De Los Santos. The Free Legal Assistance Group, or FLAG, urges the ICC to lift the suspension of its probe into the drug war. In a letter to the ICC, the group argued that the Justice Department's supposed investigation, which was cited in their deferral request, only covers a fraction of the killings within the scope of the ICC investigation. The group also pointed out that this supposed investigation did not include any findings or conclusions to drug war cases. Only mere observations of documents were supposedly cited, and witnesses and survivors were not even interviewed. Ultimately, the group argued that not a single case cited by the DOJ was referred for prosecution. Is EJ Obiana's celebrated pole vaulting career coming to an abrupt end, all because of recent allegations published by the Philippine Athletics Track and Field Association? Marty Bautista has the rest of the story.
As I said, if you want a textbook example of how to destroy an athlete, you're seeing it right here and now.
It was a somber Sunday evening when EJ Obiana stated this in his urgent press conference on November 21. This comes after an article was published on Saturday stating that the Philippine Athletics Track and Field Association has at their possession documents that prove Obiana has falsified the liquidations he submitted to the federation. Patafa claims that the 2019 Summer Universiade gold medalist fabricated accounts and even failed to compensate his longtime coach, Vitaly Petrov. The total amount owed climbed to 85,000 euros, or about 4.8 million pesos. According to Obiana, Patafa has warned him that they are currently investigating the matter. But during the press conference, Obiana insisted that the accusations were untrue.
But to take this fact and suddenly construe false accusation of theft and embezzlement is beyond honest or principle. It's a disgusting abuse of power, and it is itself a criminal activity called slander and defamation of character. The only thing I own in this life is my reputation. The entire incident has damaged my reputation and is now forever a part of my history.
According to Obiana, he had kept this incident a private matter between him and Patafa. However, due to the article that was published about the issue, he was pushed to take things publicly.
It is all false, and I welcome any court of law to shed light under the power of evidence and investigate this matter. I have also filing formal complaints with the POC, IOC, and the World Athletics.
Obiana's coach, Vitaly Petrov, stands with his trainee. He even showed proof that he had initially sent a letter to Patafa clarifying that Obiana has compensated him properly and that he wants nothing more than for the federation to drop the issue.
My job is him now. All this will necessary stop in this situation. Only money for me necessary. I put a lot of development this boy.
Obiana says Vitaly has been with him in his pole vault journey since 2014. He said Vitaly has helped him achieve his personal bests and at the same time open doors for his career. If the Patafa decides to move forward with the investigation, or if it requires EJ to replace Vitaly with a Filipino coach, Obiana said he will just retire from his decorated pole vaulting career and deliberately hang the flag.
The only resolution to this now is a full and public withdrawal of investigation and a full public apology from the authorities involved in this. If this does not happen, I will consider my other options being an immediate retirement from the sport that I love in the Philippines and probably return school.
Patafa has yet to comment on the situation. For News 5, Marty Bautista, We Are One News.
Here's a quick look at some of today's headlines. The nationwide implementation of alert level system begins today. Senator Ping Lacson visits Pag-asa Island and gets a warning from China. And Belize wins its first international pageant after winning Miss Earth 2021. And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later at 2 p.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Jess De Los Santos. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe. Philippines, we are One News.